afternoon. It's Monday, 2:38. It's the second time I've done this and hated the first one. So let's get on with it. A couple of things. This one's going to be a little different. We're only going to use half or 2/3 of the stage. So that's my intent right now. Let me orient you. This is going to be an imaginary line, and this is going to be a door or something that Jordan will knock on. Although Chris is alluded to in this scene, we don't need him. Anxiety, of course, will be up on the platform overlooking this thing, just watching it go to hell in a handbasket. When these two X's represent triangles, rather represent chairs, and when the scene opens, hope and addiction will be occupying the chair. Addiction, feel free to move around and whisper in Hope's ear, however you think it feels right to do. I'm like most of these things, I'm not going to tell you how to suck that egg, and I'm not going to line direct you. What I want you to do to remember is that this is where Hope falls to her final time. She falls victim to addiction, at least for now. And so that whole idea of her calling Chris for more drugs and or heroin addiction, she needs to coax that out of her, pull it out of her gently or brutally, or however you can get her to do that. You're going to do that, because remember, you've already seen Z die, and that really made you happy. So as this goes on, pretty soon there's more drinking involved. And there's going to be booze bottles all over here. So this goes on and on and on, up to the point where on page 73, you say now, message Chris. So that happens. The addiction grabs Hope's phone, does it for her, and then it's the blackout. There's going to be another pre-recorded message from Hope. Oh, I'm so disgusted with myself. Chris treated me like a dog and threw some pills at me after I completely degraded myself. The lights rise, and then with Jordan standing right here, yelling, Hope, what's going on here? And then addiction saying, and by this time, Hope, you have somehow ended up on the floor, maybe up front. Addiction going, ignore him. Holding 1 second, and then she walks to the side of the stage. She starts putting things around, and then Hope finally goes, 1 second, I'm coming, and then she comes over and lets Jordan in. Jordan, of course, doesn't break the door down or anything like that. Are you okay? Is the whole thing from Jordan, and then you look like an idiot. Addiction. And Hope starts lying to her about the migraine. You have to leave at least one booze bottle up, by the way. Now Jordan sees the booze bottle and says, well, why do you have a headache? And addiction says, do something. Now this looks rather, as this outline right here, it's very static, but that's not how we want it to do. We want movement and confrontation and chasing and I forget what the word is. You know what I mean. And then it goes down to, and then you go to the whole romance falling apart is on page 75. And you guys are gonna have to work through that. We have to wait until it's organic. Every time you guys have done that in the past, it's been wonderful. And then we're still on page 75. We go to page 76, and then comes the line where it talks about on page 76. I think it's time to widen your support network. That's a bad line. We're gonna have to cut that out because of all the great emotional stuff you're going through. All of a sudden, someone say, I think it's time for you to widen your support network is out of place. So let's just cut that line out. And then it's a blackout again. And then Hope called home and tells her story. And then we'll work through the what we're going to do with addiction somewhere in there. And I guess that's it. That ends that scene.